Alright lads, so if you don't already know, if you head over to your BBS profile right now and you scroll down just a tad bit, you will see that there is a completion time for every single SENKAIMON tower you do complete. And these times basically just show you how long it took you to complete these towers. It never really meant anything, but at the same time, for me, at least on my personal profile, I wanted to get most towers under the 20-minute mark. And for the longest of time, and we're talking like 4+ years at this point, the Tower of Fortune SENKAIMON completion has been triggering me. 27 minutes compared to my usual time where I try to get under 20 minutes. In fact, the most recent 7th anniversary tower, I almost beat in under 10 minutes. So for today's video, to fix my Tower of Fortune time, we are going to go back into a tower that I haven't touched in like 4+ years and see how fast we can actually complete this tower now with our newfound units. 4 years ago, it took us 27 minutes to beat it. How long will it take us to beat now? Let's find out. So starting off our speedrun, we're using the 1000 Year Blood War 2022 version of Ichigo. This character is great for exactly what we want to do. Since we're doing a 50-stage SENKAIMON tower, that means there's going to be a lot of floors, especially in the first like 25 floors, where it's so easy that we just need to bring our fastest character. We don't need to fulfill the rules like we need to do later on in the stages. So in this case, for the most part, for like at least the first 20 or so floors, I just stuck to using 1000 Year Blood War Ichigo. He comes with Sprinter +2, Long Stride, and also just does a lot of damage, even though he's only special move level 1. In addition to his great mobility though, of course he does a lot of damage, but he also has a very good kit that allows us just to clear these stages even faster. For majority of these stages, what I would do is try to prioritize using maybe 2 strong attacks in the first room to clear as fast as possible. Second room, we'll use our Soul Bomb, and then the third room, we should only need to use our first strong attack, and that should basically one-shot the boss. And I would do that for basically the next 15 or so floors until I got to a point where I wasn't one-shotting the bosses. And when that happened, then I started to change my characters. Looking back, I probably should have used 7th anniversary Uryu since I had more dupes into him, and he should have hit a tad bit harder, but it's fine, it's not that big of a deal. We are going for a fast clear time here, but we're not trying to go for a world record, so I don't really mind the extra couple seconds. But I must say, while we go through these very easy stages, is that it was kind of nostalgic playing through this SENKAIMON tower, because I haven't played this tower in many years, and just looking back at all the characters and builds that I used to use, for the most part, this entire SENKAIMON, I was using the free Senka Eisen Link, so that definitely carried us back in the day, especially when we didn't have Transcendence, because that's the main thing. When this tower first came out, Transcendence was not a thing, and even when it wasn't really that accessible to a lot of characters, so you had to use your materials sparingly. But going through these stages, it was quite nostalgic, just look at all the characters I was using, and at the same time, I must say, the stages themselves were awkwardly positioned. I'm not sure what it is, maybe Caleb just streamlined it as we went onto other SENKAIMON towers, but there was a lot of weird placement for mobs, and at the same time, the maps themselves were also just very awkward to get around. And in certain stages, those maps definitely added a couple extra seconds to our overall runtime. Now, jumping forward a couple stages, we're now on stage 19. It was at this point when I realized that I was supposed to be using Uryu from the get-go. Since he was special move level 3, having access to SP level 10, attack level 10, and also focus level 10, it means that he's able to do more damage to the point where he's just an overall better character to use here. Ichigo is great. We used him for basically the first 18 floors outside of a few stages where it was a seal stage and we had to use someone else. But Ichigo's work was done, so we put him to rest, and now it was time for Uryu to shine. And speaking of shining, big props to Donkanoji and also Safui Soifun for coming in clutch in the boss stages. Those stages in particular are actually very good for our clear time, since it's only 3 quick bosses. Usually you're going to complete those stages in under like 7 seconds, so that's good for our clear time. But in addition to using Uryu on stage 19, we also had to use other characters at certain points, because there were multiple floors, especially in this tower, where it forces us to bring either a captain character, maybe it forces us to bring a hollow character, and in doing so, I would have to make some necessary switches using other characters. Again, very important, we are going for a fast playtime here, so most, if not all the characters that I did use, with very few exceptions, I would have them T20 with Long Stride as a bonus ability. Those extra flash steps, those extra mobility definitely helps us save a lot of time when going from room to room. And as we made it higher and higher into the tower, we were getting to points where we only had to bring a few select characters. Uryu was still a character that I could use, but it was also nice to see 1000 Year Blood War Ichigo return, since at this point he was actually a very good character to use here, since he was getting most of the benefits. At this point in time, every character we was using either got most of the bonuses or all the bonuses. And you're going to see a lot of familiar faces, characters that do a lot of damage that I have luckily max transcended, and also great mobility. So in this case, we now are using Artwork Ichigo. He's a great character for this, being a technique character, hollow character that does have killer effects, so we're able to go through that very easily. And then other stages, we had to use someone like 1000 Year Blood Yamamoto, who is a very good character for this. He does have extra flash steps, so I was able to give him Long Stride, and we were able to go through that quest relatively quick, especially because he was max transcended. Stage 33 though was actually a very interesting stage, given the fact that I actually had to use the new TLA version of Shinji, a character that I never thought would really be that useful in SENKAIMON, but here we are. And that's mainly due to the fact that he is a speed hollow character. This stage in particular did want us to bring a speed hollow, and I could have used second anniversary Ichigo, but I haven't really invested into that character. Whereas Shinji, since he's a new character with a very powerful soul trait, I already had him T20, I already had him at level 10 SP, so he was a perfect character for this, going through it very quick, and he was a surprise character. Not someone I thought I'd use, but I was able to use him. Same can be said for this stage. After that, we had to use another Yamamoto, but in this case, it was the Spirits Arthur with you, Yamamoto. Now, this stage also didn't really have any good options whatsoever. Like, my best option here was Yamamoto, who I believe at this point wasn't actually T20, and I don't think I did T20 him, so it was only T10, level 10 attack, and we just went with that. Normally, if I'm using a character, they're gonna be T20 with long stride and stuff like that, but just given this particular stage, I just stuck with Yamamoto. He wasn't clearing as fast as I wanted him to clear, but it was still quick enough anyway regardless. Like, he was the best option. There was no other better character that I could have personally used that would have cleared faster than this particular Yamamoto. Was kind of hoping to inflict some weakness so we could clear faster, but it was fine. We still got a respectable under 15-second clear time. The stage after that though, we just used our big Ichigo, cleared that with no problem, but then we came against another problem. It was this particular stage that, I don't know what it was, it just wasn't a really good stage for me. We had to bring a mind character, and I think for the mind attribute we're lacking very fast characters, and the only somewhat good / fast character that I could actually think about using here was the, of course, 7th anniversary Ichigo. In this case though, it was a very weird stage, and we definitely wasted a lot of time here because of the way that second room in particular was actually laid out. It was a very linear stage, and we had to get into a certain area, but using a controller, especially with long stride, it's not the best. If I was using my mobile, I would have went through this stage very easily, but by using my controller, it was a bit awkward, and you'll notice that throughout most of the clips that, you know, we're not moving as fluid as we would do if we were using a mobile. But regardless, we were still able to get through this quest relatively quick, not as fast as again I wanted it to go through, but it was still good nonetheless. Next up though, we're going to just jump through a bunch of stages. Stage 39, we used 7th anniversary Uryu, was a quick stage, but the stage itself was very awkward to get around. Stage 40 was a very easy stage, only going against 3 Espadas, so in that case we brought the Safui version of Kenpachi. Didn't give him long stride, so we could have cleared faster, but it was still a good clear time nonetheless. Stage 41 was smooth sailing with 1000 Year Blood with Ichigo getting majority of the bonuses here, and the map layout with the enemy spawns were actually just very smooth, that we cleared that particular stage super quick. The fire version of Yamamoto then took on stage 42, and again cleared that relatively quick. Had a bit of a hiccup here since my Yamamoto did get blocked by a wall in the corner, was kind of annoying, but we were still able to recover that and still clear it relatively fast. Stage 43 was cleared by the Safui version of Retsu. This was a boss rush stage, so it was actually very easy and quick. Even though I didn't give Retsu long stride, we were still able to clear in under 10 seconds. Stage 44, we used the Safui version of Shinji, was very smooth using that SA3 in the first room, but the second room again had another hiccup where I kind of just forgot where I was supposed to go, and I went into a bunch of enemies and had to flash step away, but we were still able to clear that one again pretty quick. Not as fast as I could have done had I just redone the stage and went for a more optimal run, but like I mentioned, we're not trying to be that picky on our runs here, especially because the time we got was actually pretty decent. Stage 45 saw a very familiar face, in this case 7th anniversary Uryu. For some reason I wasn't able to one-shot the Yatsu, which was kind of annoying. I had to use 2 strong attacks on her, but lucky enough the Soul Bomb and a 3rd strong attack on Nemu was enough for us to clear that stage very quick. Stage 46 onwards was usually the stages that you would have to be in under a minute to get the old extra stages, so I had a lot of experience in these particular maps, and in this case this was a very weird one. We used 7th anniversary Uryu again, and you can see that in the first room we had to use a strong attack to destroy the statue, but the second room was easy. I just had to get in the right position to just clean sweep it with an SA3, and then as we went into the final stage, 1 strong attack from Uryu's SA1 was enough to put Shinji down. Stage 49, we brought 1000 Year Blood War Yamamoto again. Was kind of nostalgic using this particular character. Despite it being a new character, I believe I used to always use the tag team version of Yamamoto on this stage, so now using the new and better version of Yama for the same stage, like almost 4 years later, was kind of funny. In this case though, it was a beautiful run, allowing us to get through it very easily. All we had to do was use 1 strong attack, a Soul Bomb, and then clean up the boss with another strong attack. Stage 48, another very easy room. These rooms again are meant to be beat quick, so that's why it's super easy to get through them, and we're actually clearing super fast, despite them being on the latter end of the tower. In this case, stage 48, we had to bring 7th anniversary Ichigo. It was a boss rush stage, so 1 strong attack on each enemy, and they got put down. Stage 49 was very similar to stage 47, 7 in the sense that it was a very easy map where enemies just spawned right in the middle. And again, we were using a familiar face, that being Thousand Year Blood War Ichigo. Was lovely to see all the characters that we've been using for majority of these stages come back for the final 5. And in this case, we beat it very quickly with him and then went into the final stage, stage 50, with Artworks Ichigo. This stage used to be a nightmare to beat in under 1 minute, at least for me back in the day, but having to go through this now, 5 years later almost, it was just super easy. Having said that though, the Renji in the first stage taking 2 strong attacks to kill was actually quite surprising. Bro was tanky. But Ichigo goes down using the better Ichigo, and we now finished Tower of Fortune. But to answer the big question, what clear time did we get now? Previously, keep in mind we had 27 minutes, and I was expecting maybe we just get under 10 minutes, but to my surprise, we got a 6 minute and 44 second clear time. That's actually really good. I was actually very shocked by that clear time. Now, I know this is not the fastest out there, but it's just kind of funny seeing my other clear times being like 15 plus minutes and you have 1 6-minute clear time. It looked like I modded back in the day, but nah, that's legit. We just showed it, and the craziest part is, again, they can get faster. I've seen people out there get less than 4 minutes, which is just crazy to think about. But with that said, that was basically the video for today, just quickly giving you guys my updated Tower of Fortune clear time. This is something that I'm going to keep updated every single month going forward. I'm going to try and go speedrun some of the older towers. I've already went ahead to speedrun Tower of Ordeals, and that should be posted within the next week or so. That one's even crazy in my opinion, but it's just something fun to do, especially because SENKAIMON hasn't got a new tower just yet. We're currently just still getting more stages on the Gates of Oblivion. So going back to do some of these stages and just clear a lot faster, have a bit of fun looking at my old build and just using different characters to a stage that I used to struggle on a while back was fun to go through. I enjoyed myself doing this, and now my profile looks even better with a 6 minute and 44 second clear time. With that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Take care and peace.